What happened in Paris? How did South Africa's ambassador, Mthethwa, end up dead at a luxury hotel? WhatsApp trail links Mogotsi to tender tycoon Matlala at the Madlanga inquiry. And South Africa braces for La Niña, a hot, wet summer looms. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
South African ambassador Mthethwa has died in Paris. His body was discovered at the Hyatt Hotel with reports suggesting he fell from the 22nd floor. He had been reported missing earlier. Authorities in both France and South Africa have yet to confirm the exact circumstances. Mthethwa, once Minister of Police and later Arts and Culture, was serving as ambassador to France. A clear motive to solicit hundreds of thousands of rands from tender tycoon and attempted murder accused Vusimuzi Cat Matlala by Northwest businessman and alleged information peddler Brown Mogotsi has been laid bare before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. WhatsApp messages between the two were revealed during the testimony of crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo. Mogotsi's access to confidential police information allowed him to gain the trust of Matlala, who's been linked to the 2 billion rand Tembisa hospital tender scandal.
Brown Mogotsi was promising Matlala a lot of things, was promising to assist him in that 360 million rand police tender that he was awarded via his company, Medicare 24 Tshwane District, but those sort of promises never came into fruition. And so essentially, Brown Mogotsi was kind of soliciting or extorting money from Cat Matlala, and Cat Matlala was playing into the hands of Mogotsi and giving him these funds. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of rands here. At one stage, a figure of 111,000 rand came up in what Cat Matlala had paid to Brown Mogotsi. He was assisting him in funding him in ways that Mogotsi was alleging that he was going to be assisting and funding the ANC, that he was going to be assisting and funding certain regions within the Northwest where they couldn't possibly lose voters. And so these were the sort of WhatsApp exchanges that we saw between Mogotsi and Matlala. We also saw the names of several high-ranking police officials pop up in the testimony today, in that of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, the suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner responsible for crime detection, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, as well as the head of counterintelligence in crime intelligence, and that of Major General Feroz Khan. Towards the end of his testimony, we saw Dumisani Khumalo suggesting that Khan had a strong relationship with Vusimuzi Cat Matlala in reference to some of the messages that were exchanged with Brown Mogotsi.
Despite some damning allegations coming out of the Madlanga Commission, the Presidency says Cyril Ramaphosa will not take any action, at least until an interim report is finalized.
We have indicated we will not have a running commentary on the Madlanga Commission, but you'll recall that when the President announced the Madlanga Commission, he announced a two-phased approach. He says in 3 months there must be an interim report, and then in 6 months there will be a final report. So we must wait.
Advocate Terry Matawa has stepped down as chief evidence leader. He's been replaced by Matthew Chaskelson. Malema has been in the dock at the East London Magistrates Court for the second day of judgment proceedings. Malema stands accused of firing a firearm during a 2018 rally in Mdansane in close proximity to thousands of supporters. He's argued the firearm in question was a toy gun and contained no live ammunition.
Accused 1 and 2, for what I've just placed on record, for those reasons then, we will require tomorrow the morning session at most. So it is postponed for continuation of judgment to 1 October.
Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says he's pleased to confirm that Delta Airlines will be increasing its flights from Atlanta in the United States to Cape Town. Winde recently returned from a 10-day trip to the US to improve trade relations, investment, tourism and jobs in the province. The Premier says more than 160,000 tourists visited the Western Cape from the United States in 2024.
The great news is that there are 3 direct flights a week to Cape Town from Atlanta. That's going to now be increasing to 5 flights a week. And we will also be looking at any regulatory blocks to see that perhaps even next year we move that to a daily flight.
Cracking down on Pollsmoor's trigger-pulling syndicates and beefing up security to stop prisoners from escaping. These are the moves to make sure Pollsmoor is impenetrable.
With each and every search that we conduct, and also with each and every operation that we do to block contrabands to make it into our facilities, we identify officials that are involved and we take them through disciplinary processes, but we also open cases with SAPS. So that's a continuous campaign that we are involved in.
The South African Weather Service says people can expect mostly hotter than usual conditions, as well as more rainfall in some parts of the country this coming summer. The service warns that these conditions may cause some natural disasters, especially flooding.
Increased above normal rainfall, as opposed to when we have an El Nino, where we expect below normal rainfall in general. We've seen this change to occur in the last month, and we are somewhat confident in the likelihood of above normal rainfall, especially for the summer rainfall areas.
The battle over former Deputy President David Mabuza's 44 million rand pension has been delayed. The Mpumalanga High Court has asked Alexander Forbes to clarify conflicting documents on whether the money was part of a life policy or a pension fund. Judge Johannes Rolfse says he cannot rule until the company files affidavits. Alexander Forbes has until the 26th of September, with the case returning to court on the 30th. Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Gayton McKenzie was a no-show today at the extended cabinet Lekgotla, with his future in the GNU uncertain. The Patriotic Alliance president has recently threatened to resign from his ministerial position if his deputy president, Kenny Kunene, isn't reinstated as the MMC for transport by the Johannesburg mayor. As members of the National Executive met in Pretoria today for a strategy session on growing the economy, McKenzie's absence was noticeably conspicuous.
The SG of the ANC is right. One shouldn't make threats. But what other option did we have left? This wasn't a threat. This was a statement of intent.
McKenzie, along with some senior members of his party, are due to meet with the ANC tonight to resolve outstanding issues. So Parliament is preparing to host its final G20 event under South Africa's presidency, the P20 Speakers Summit in Claremont. The US won't be represented by its Speaker of the House, but by 4 delegates, ahead of America taking over the presidency. Speaker Toko Didiza says the gathering is a milestone, positioning South Africa as a hub of diplomacy and development. It's also the first time the P20 summit, bringing together presiding officers from G20 states and the AU, is being held on African soil.
We are therefore in a unique position to ensure that Africa's perspectives, priorities and solutions are fully integrated in the global agenda.
A childcare NGO says there's been an alarming increase in babies being abandoned. Yesterday, police were informed about the body of a newborn baby which was discovered in a field near the M5. This is the 3rd such incident reported to police in the last 2 weeks. Last week, the bodies of 2 babies were discovered in Wallerstein and in Vorshaw informal settlement.
We've got so many women that inbox us where they are saying they are pregnant. They basically want to give their babies up for adoption. I will then connect those women to adoption agencies, or I will get adoption agencies or social workers to make contact with them.
Hundreds of US generals and admirals are gathering for a rare meeting with President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The gathering comes just weeks after Trump signed an order renaming the Department of Defense the Department of War in all executive statements. The White House insists today's event is simply about military progress. But is it? We'll soon find out, and see you for more again tomorrow.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.